We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
Hello, this is Chuck Campbell with
Wayne Bledsoe.
Wayne. You want to talk about what we're doing this week?
Today is cover songs.
Yeah.
And we didn't even make the parameters on whether it's the best or the worst or the most interesting or the most surprising. So I'm interested to see what you're going to come up with.
Okay.
Because I don't even know what I'm going to come up with.
Oh,
You've got notes. I have no notes.
I have notes. I was breaking it down into two groups of 6.
Wow, that's more than
I'm not doing bad ones. I'm not doing surprising ones. I'm trying to do pretty well-known songs.
Okay.
Either the original version or the cover version or both.
Right.
And by acts that pretty much everyone should know most or all of these people that I'm talking about, no matter how old or young you are. And you may not know all of them. And the first ones, I think, one is, my opinion is pretty non-controversial as to which one I think is better. Okay. And then the other one, it might be more marginal. There might be more disagreement about whether which one is the better song.
Okay, all right.
Something about John Baker's here, and he's got a list too, I understand, right?
My list is not nearly as long as yours, but I've got a couple of different kind of categories that I think are interesting.
Well, you already sound more organized than Wayne.
There's no this is off. This one's off the top of my head.
Off the cuff. All right. So when we're talking about cover songs, we're not talking about people who just recorded a song someone else wrote. We're talking about a song that's been or at least this is my interpretation.
But that's always one of those things. Whereas like the songwriter may have recorded it and nobody heard it.
Right.
Or, there's a situation where they gave the song to another artist. Wild Horses by the Rolling Stones, they gave that to the Flying Burrito Brothers before they recorded it.
Okay. All right. Well,
so there's different things. There's different ways it happens.
I'm just going straight up. Someone did it. Someone else did it later.
All right. Go ahead.
So, but I did want to say something about cover songs and how many cover songs there are and how people qualify them. And,
right.
And one thing that I've always, it's always irritated me, like when there's like a alpha person in a band and they have the guitar and they write the songs.
Right.
So they sing even if they're not the best singer in the band or even if they suck as a singer. Or they write songs and their band plays and it's a mediocre band. I mean, I don't care how good your song is. If it's a mediocre band, it's still going to sound pretty mediocre. It might sound a little better. Yeah. But, a mediocre band's not going to suddenly sound great because they're doing a good song.
Right.
So where am I going with that?
Yeah,
I'm just saying that there's kind of some disparaging remarks made about people who don't write their own music.
Right.
Like Beyonce. Everybody picks on her. It's like, 15 different people wrote their song or wrote her song or whatever. And it's like, well, who the hell cares? I mean, it's like, what does the song sound like? Does she sound convincing? Does the band sound convincing? I don't really care. I mean, it's great when you're talking about, I don't know, if you're talking about like the A-level bands, like we've talked about with Fleetwood Mac and Beatles and maybe even the Eagles or whatever, where you got a good bunch of songwriters and several different vocalists and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're just listening to a song, all of that stuff doesn't matter that much.
And up until the 1960s, pretty much nobody on the radio wrote their own songs.
Right.
There were country musicians who did. There's Hank Williams, and then probably the first singer-songwriter that actually sang their own songs is Hoagy Carmichael.
Okay.
Georgia on My Mind, things like that, who was, all of his songs were made much more famous than his versions.
Right. And when you get into like the 60s even, it's like women especially weren't writing their own songs. It's just, as a rule.
Yeah, Janis Joplin didn't for sure.
Right. And it's like, I don't know.
Well, really, until the Beatles, pop artists weren't really expected to write their own songs.
Right.
I mean, they were just the artists. They were the interpreters.
Right. Well, I look at it like this. I mean, Wayne, you and I are both writers,
Right.
And if I wrote a biography of Tom Cruise or someone like that, I wouldn't expect to play Tom Cruise in the movie. It's kind of like I'm writing that. I'm doing what I do, but I'm not an actor, so I'm not suddenly entitled to, to be that person.
Do you do your own stunts?
Some, yeah. Never intentionally, but yeah, I can do stunts.
Yeah, well, and there were also writers who wrote with specific voices in mind. There were, Jimmy Van Heusen and different people like that, they wrote knowing that Frank Sinatra might record their songs. So sometimes they wrote for Frank Sinatra.
Right.
You know.
Burt Bacharach and Hal David.
Yep.
And then you have the partnerships like Elton John and
Bernie Taupin.
Yeah. So, there are all different ways that people come into the songs.
Right.
All that matters at the end of the day is how the audience responds to it, Yeah. I don't care if they've got 18 credits or if the wrong person's credited or what. I mean, I do care if the wrong person's credited, but...
Well, while you're talking about this, I want to point out one of the things that I always thought is particularly interesting is when, like, Harry Nilsson, who wrote, One, which Three Dog Night had a big hit with, and Amy Mann recorded for Magnolia, because we talked about that a while back. And he wrote all these great songs. His biggest hits were songs he didn't write.
Right.
Everybody's Talkin's written by Fred Neil, and that was like his big breakthrough. The only song on his album he didn't write.
Right.
And it was one of the Midnight Cowboy soundtrack. And Without You, which was recorded by Badfinger, which is one of the best covers of all time, because if you listen to Badfinger's version of that song, it sucks. I love Badfinger, but it's terrible when they do it.
Yeah.
And he was able to hear the potential for that song and turn it into a classic.
Right. And we've talked about, you mentioned Amy Mann just now. I'd written her down as someone like a Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan's voice is not to everyone's taste, including mine, but I know you don't mind it.
No, I like it.
You've talked about Kate Bush before, how, you don't like her voice.
Yeah.
They're all, three of them, Amy Mann included, those are all great songwriters, but maybe you don't want to hear, maybe the song will just be more convincing or more compelling if someone else is singing it.
And Dolly, too. I love Dolly and her versions, but there are people who don't like Dolly's voice, and the covers are how they appreciate Dolly.
Right. Well, so we've run out of time here. But no, I'm joking. Okay, so I'm going to go with. I've got two groups. The first group I'm going to say it's kind of non-controversial as to which one I think is the better song that I think the cover song. Although you might disagree with one or two of these, but the first one. You pointed this out to me, but I don't know how we can not talk about Aretha Franklin's cover of Respect. Yeah. Which, and Otis Redding did a pretty good job with it. It didn't sound like fully fleshed out. His version didn't.
No.
And I mean, Aretha Franklin just owns that song.
Well, and at the Monterey Pop Festival, before he does it, he says, "This girl just took this song from me. She just took this song."
Yeah.
And I mean, it was meaning in high praise.
Right.
And he started singing it more like she sang it.
Right.
After she showed him how to do it. I mean, he didn't add the R-E-S-P-E-C-T that she added.
Right.
But it's like it was a good song by Otis Redding. It's a great song by Aretha.
Right. I mean, it's career defining for Aretha Franklin. And I did go back to listen to Otis Redding. I thought, well, this isn't so bad. And then it just kind of ended. You didn't get the spelling and all that.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, she definitely did a better job as good as he is.
And I love Otis Redding.
Yeah.
But what's an interesting thing is one of his signature songs, "Try a Little Tenderness," is a cover of a Bing Crosby song from the 30s. Well, it wasn't just Bing Crosby. Back in the 30s, you'd have a song that like 10 people would record and try to, sell records by. The radio wasn't as big a thing. Uh-huh. But "Try a Little Tenderness," listen to Bing Crosby's version and then listen to Otis Redding's version.
Otis kills it.
Yeah. And Bing Crosby, it's just a song. It's, it's a nice song, but Otis Redding turns it into a classic.
Right. Okay.
Well
thumbs up on Aretha Franklin's Respect. I knew she'd be the least controversial of all. We can't argue with that.
Totally not.
This one, I think, is another no-brainer, and it's Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compares to You" from 1990. Prince originally wrote that song, and he wrote it for a band called The Family. Yeah. And, he was always, coming up with new acts and, promoting a lot of new artists and everything. The Family, they were mediocre. They sucked. They did one album. I think I reviewed it. Nothing to remember about it. And they did a version of "Nothing Compares to You" that was lifeless, Yeah. I mean, it's as good as the song was. And then Sinead O'Connor came in, and it was just it was a kind of like a performance of a lifetime from Sinead O'Connor. Yeah. You just felt all of the emotion, and all of the pain in her voice. I don't think there's...
And anybody who covers that song after that, they're going to be listening to Sinead O'Connor's version. But nobody else comes close.
I think a hint to people who are thinking about cover songs: don't cover an amazing song. Well, can you think of an amazing song? Well, actually, I can't. I've got a couple of that I think were pretty great in their original in incantations. But what are you going to say?
Well, I'm just saying that sometimes you can make it work. I talked about this before. Etta James at Last, which is actually a cover of a song from the 30s. Mm-hmm. Con Hunley, country singer, he does a version of it, and it's great. I mean, you can't think that anybody else could compare with Etta James singing at Last.
Right.
But because he does it as a guy, that you're not always thinking about a woman's voice.
Right.
He does a great version, and I listen to his now as much as hers.
Okay. Well, yeah, and I do actually, to contradict myself, I do have some songs that I think, they were great to begin with.
Right.
But that's more on my controversial list. Not so much here. I want to talk about 1991, Boyz II Men. They had this smash hit, It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. Beautiful song. They did the One Sweet Day with Mariah Carey years later, which was like their big 10 weeks at number one kind of song. But It's So Hard to Say Goodbye to Yesterday. I imagine it's been played at scores of funerals. It's just the harmonies are just beautiful. And to tell you how, and I've got to say, it's a cover of a song by G.C. Cameron. I don't know. And it's from the Cooley High movie from 1975. So,
okay.
That's one, do you know Cooley High?
Yeah, I remember. I liked the movie, but I don't remember the music.
Well, see, I should have known you would. Okay. So,
yeah.
But anyway.
I saw it when it came out. Chuck.
Well, and I did go back and, oh my God.
That was before we were born.
Yeah.
It was before you were born.
We weren't even.
It's not even before you were born. You're not that
of.
much younger than me, John.
I know.
But anyway, to tell you how great I think the Boyz II Men version is, it's actually featured in an episode of Family Guy. And I know, and it's a sarcastic animated show, right? And it's the character Stewie, the baby, who's just the meanest character in the show or in any animated show, and he has a little pet stuffed bear named Rupert, and Rupert, the dog in the family, Brian, rips up Rupert, and Stewie is devastated. Do you remember this? So Brian agrees. Stewie is so hurt. Brian takes Stewie to some mountain or something to bury Rupert up on the mountain. And somehow there's a Fast and Furious storyline here too. I'm going to get to the point in just a second. But anyway, so we got Family Guy, and we got Mean Stewie, and he's all emotional and melodramatic about his bear. And then Brian's just trying to make everything good. And at the end, Brian's driving home, and Stewie's in the back seat sleeping, and you see. There's a little surprise ending, but you see Rupert at the wheel of a car in heaven, and Paul Walker, who was in the Fast and Furious and died in a car wreck. He had already died. So he's in heaven, and Rupert and Paul Walker are racing each other in heaven, and that song comes on, and I get choked up. So it's so moving to me that even hearing it in a ridiculous, absurd context, it still chokes me up.
Huh. Well, the one that the cover that gets to me more than any other cover, and I think probably everybody in the country just about, is Johnny Cash's cover of "Hurt."
Oh, yeah, that's coming up on my controversial.
You consider that controversial?
Well, it was. Okay, I'll go ahead and knock this one out.
Yeah, let's talk about this one.
Yeah, it's controversial because I thought Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails, did an amazing job.
Yeah, his is good.
Yeah, and when I heard, and I loved it. I mean, I loved The Downward Spiral. That was one of my top albums for, 94?
Great album.
And yeah, great album. It had Closer on it too, right?
Oh, God.
And when I first heard Johnny Cash did it, I thought, oh, that's just some gimmick. It's like I was not buying in. I wasn't having it. I saw the video of old Johnny Cash sitting there singing. It's like, I'm not listening to this. I'm not listening to this. I don't care.
Yeah. What
Trent Reznor did was, magic. I don't need to hear old Johnny Cash sing it. And then I finally said, all right, I'm going to listen to this objectively, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I had to back off. I had to say, because you got all that weight of weathered, voice of Johnny Cash, and with Reznor, it's more of a younger kind of angst song and everything. With Johnny Cash, it's just like he's looking back on his whole life and seeing this pattern,
and he's aware that he's dying at the time.
Yeah. So but I wasn't giving it. I was like, I'm not having it. I don't care. I mean, not that I don't care about Johnny Cash, but it's like he shouldn't have touched this one. And when I finally put my little reviewer hat on. It's
Right.
like, oh, it's amazing. So.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about, that era of Johnny Cash, Rick Rubin basically rescued him from near obscurity after he'd been like one of the greatest artists in country music.
Right.
And he has him record new songs. Johnny Cash was always doing that. He recorded Bob Dylan songs.
Right.
He recorded a Nick Lowe song, The Beast in Me. Nick Lowe was actually his son-in-law for a short period of time.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nick Lowe married Carlene Carter, which is Johnny's stepdaughter.
Right.
So anyway, Nick was in all that thing, but he wrote that song with Johnny Cash in mind, and he covered it, and he did a great version of it. In fact, I think he probably recorded it before Nick did.
Oh, okay.
But Rick Rubin pulled out these songs by modern writers.
Yeah.
And, he did a good job on nearly all of them.
Yeah.
But that one is just devastating.
Yeah.
I nearly cry when I listen to it just because you feel it. You know he feels it.
Well, I just came in with a bias against it because
Yeah.
it was already a devastating song by Nine Inch Nails to
Yeah,
me.
it was a good. I
had listened to it a million
too.
times. Like, why am I going to listen to this guy do this?
Yeah, but
it was remarkable. So,
Yeah.
I agree.
To me, Johnny just, and Prince's version was great, but I think Johnny just absolutely just got everything out of that song you could get out of it, and just tears you
And
up.
it was just a different angle. And
And apparently Johnny was real reluctant to do a lot of these songs.
Yeah.
Because like Rick Rubin played him the versions, and
Yeah.
he's like, "What am I doing singing that?"
right.
It's not
Yeah.
anything
Well, that's
like
what I thought. It's like it's like a publicity stunt, to get so.
No, that's one thing about Rick Rubin as a producer is
Yeah.
he can hear it's like, and I think Don Was has the same thing. They can hear what's special about an artist and figure out, okay, this is how we need to present them.
Right. Well, am I going back to non-controversy here?
We just dismiss your structure and go however you want to go.
This one is just Florence and the Machine. Kind of a little more modern rock kind of band. They did a song, not the Dog Days, but "You've Got the Love," and my first introduction to that wasn't even on the album, but they were on Saturday Night Live,
Right.
And I fell asleep watching Saturday Night Live because that's what happens. And
Right.
I woke up right when that song came on, and I was just mesmerized by her performance. Particularly, they had cellos, I believe, violins, and everything. It's just this very stately, kind of chilling, but sort of inspiring song. And I just looked it up, and it was like, it turns out in 1986 there was someone named Candy Stanton who did this fluffy little synth pop version of it that was like completely unremarkable, and it's like really cool that someone could hear this, anonymous song and think, oh, I can do something with that, but they did.
Great examples, Joan Jett. Joan Jett's biggest hits were covers of songs that were like, they're okay.
Yeah, well, gosh, Gary Glitter and Do You Want to Touch Me? I'm glad someone is making more money off of that, but then like Crimson and Clover, and then that was Shondells.
I love rock. Tommy James and the Shondells, and then I love rock and roll. I can't remember who did that originally, but that's a cover too.
Yeah. Well, she's always been good at covering. I don't think Bad Reputation. I think that might have been hers.
Yeah, it probably was.
Anyway.
But Cyndi Lauper. Girls Just Want to Have Fun as a cover.
Yeah. Money Changes Everything.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Yeah.
And
When You Were Mine, that was a Prince song.
That's a Prince song. In fact, I think that's actually the first time I really appreciated Prince because I'd heard Prince. Actually, I take it back. No, that's not the first time.
He was around a little before she was, but then
and I'd actually heard his second album, something from the second album. I want to be your lover.
Yeah.
But hearing Cyndi Lauper cover when You Were Mine is just like, it's like, oh, this is a damn good song.
Yeah. Am I all right.
I'm taking your lead.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just talking about Burt Bacharach and Hal David, and they wrote this one is like I'm kind of torn on, but I like the song, and I remember when I was growing up, I would hear, and I couldn't remember if it was This Guy's in Love with You or This Girl's in Love with You.
Right.
That's because it was both.
Right.
They wrote one, and Herb Alpert recorded it, went to number one with it in 1968.
Yep.
And then Dionne Warwick swirled around at the end of that same year, and she released This Girl's in Love with You. I like the songs. I love there's a little bit of my mom in there because that was like her favorite composers, and I just liked how sweet the versions were, but they had that kind of sadness to them too. And I think that Dionne Warwick's version, which was just months after Herb Alpert's, was a little better because he wasn't a great singer, He was like a band leader and everything.
Yeah,
did he even sing on other
No,
songs? Okay.
That was, I can't, it was like the band's 5th album or something.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time he sang, and that was a big deal. I had the 45 of that when I was a kid. And I thought it was great just because it's a good song. And he doesn't really sing as much as he talks.
Yeah.
He barely sings.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, Dionne's just more professional singers. But both songs, I like both versions.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that hers was recorded before his.
Probably, yeah. It's just, I think his came out in like April of '68, and hers came out like in October, like 6 or 7 months later or whatever.
Well, that was a thing, and people, that doesn't happen anymore.
And they were both top 10 hits.
Yeah.
So.
But that used to happen on a regular basis. A good song would come out,
and 10 people would record it.
Right. And,
you're about to throw out another example, I feel.
Well,
maybe I should jump to the last one because I feel like you're about to go to that one, but go ahead.
No, probably not, because what I was going to bring up is Louie Louie.
Oh, okay.
Because Louie Louie, like, the Kingsmen recorded that, but there was like 10 other people who recorded it at the same time. Paul Revere and the Raiders recorded it, I think, before the Kingsmen.
Oh, wow. And you would hear all of these on the radio? Or
No, that was the thing, is back then you had radio stations who weren't corporate. So, like, this area of the country would be playing this version of a song. Another area would be playing a different artist recording that song. So you had the same song.
What? I was looking. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying you had the same song that were hits by other artists in different areas.
Right.
And sometimes one artist would hear it when they were passing through someplace and like it and record it and make it a hit in their part of the country.
You just made me realize it because I was looking up one of the old songs I talk about here, and in the description, I think it was Wikipedia or whatever, but it said that it was popular in Florida and parts of Indiana and Colorado or something like that. I thought, how does that happen?
It's because it was before corporate radio.
That was before corporate radio.
Exactly. And it's funny because the song "She Shot a Hole in My Soul," which was recorded first by Clifford Curry, who was from Knoxville. It was like, and I think it only got to 99 on the national R&B charts.
Right.
It's crazy. But like in Philadelphia, I think it was Philadelphia, it was number 1.
Yeah.
Here, it was big because, it's a great song, but also Clifford's from here, so that was part of the reason it got big here. But it was in different places. It just didn't like go national. It was on a little label.
Well, on my music memories, there was like every radio station was playing the same playlist from coast to coast, basically.
Well, a lot were, and it's when you had like a top 40 station that was very, not corporate back then, but they would limit themselves to just the top 40.
Right.
But then you had these independent stations that were like, no, we got somebody we like here. We're going to throw something on. And that's where you got like cool songs like Little Black Egg.
Right.
Which was not a hit hardly at all, but I think the band was from Florida. So in the Southeast, people would play it.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what I thought you were about to talk about...
Which one?
...was Creedence Clearwater Revival, Proud Mary. When you said, more than one group could have it. It's like, yeah, well, Creedence Clearwater Revival certainly did with Proud Mary in 69. And then Ike and Tina Turner came around and released a version in 71.
Right.
And the CCR version, I do think, is a good song. I don't think it's a bad song.
Right.
And it's just that whole... And I actually don't really like how Ike and Tina Turner start their version slow. But man, when it works up and she gets into that frenzy and you got those brassy horns, it's like they just like blew it off the charts. So
that's a Phil Spector production. That's when he was producing.
Oh, okay.
He produced them for one album.
Okay. Well, it worked.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I looked it up, and on Billboard, CCR had lots of hits, and Proud Mary was their biggest hit.
Yep.
And Ike and Tina Turner had lots of hits, and Proud Mary was their biggest hit. And I don't know how often that's happened when, two pretty substantial names.
Do we know who wrote it?
Yeah, it's John Fogerty.
John Fogerty wrote it?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Okay.
The interesting thing, with Creedence, is they recorded a version of I Heard It Through the Grapevine.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And it's a great version. It's a big, long version.
Jubilant.
Yeah, but that song had been recorded, of course, by Marvin Gaye, which is the well-known, best-known one.
Yeah.
But Gladys Knight and the Pips recorded it. I think theirs may have actually come out before Marvin Gaye's.
Oh.
I actually like it better.
Well, my favorite version is by the California Raisins. Kidding.
Well, theirs is modeled after the Marvin Gaye version.
Right.
But Gladys Knight and the Pips don't.
Yeah, I have heard that now that you mentioned.
Yeah, they don't get near enough respect. Their version is great.
Yeah.
Well, just a little CCR side note. They did a great cover of "I Put a Spell on You."
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
amazing.
Well, that's one of the
What is that,
songs.
Nina Simone? Is that
Nina Simone did a great version, but it was written by and originated by Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
Wow.
And it's been covered by everybody. Alan Price had a hit with it too.
Okay.
It was a minor hit here, but a big hit in England. And his is actually my favorite, I think.
Okay.
But Nina Simone's is great. And
Yeah.
it's just a great song.
It is a great song.
And he was kind of a novelty artist, which is kind of funny because, I mean, he would be carried on stage in a coffin and jump out, and he had skulls and stuff, and he would literally scream. He wanted to be an opera singer originally.
Who is this?
Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
Okay. I guess I'm not that familiar with that.
Oh, listen, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, I mean, when he died, he had so many illegitimate children that they had to take out ads and say, "Do you think you may have been one of Screamin' Jay's children?"
Did they have DNA tests back then, or just?
Well, yeah, this is not that long ago. This is,
Okay.
this is about 15 years ago. And and they confirmed 70 people, I think, that
Oh
were.
my God.
Yeah.
It's like B.B. King.
Yeah.
Well, he got around too.
Yeah, he did.
But Screamin'
Let me
Jay,
check, see who.
how many people could have to take out an ad to say, "Are you my child?" You could be. But yeah.
Okay. I'm looking up. Nick Cannon has 12 kids, so
Okay.
he's the modern
he
Big
ain't.
Daddy.
He got nothing on Screamin' Jay.
No, 12. That's he's just getting started, I guess.
But yeah, that's a song that's been covered so many times by so many people, and it's great.
It doesn't seem like people do that much anymore. You know?
No.
If someone has a hit, I mean, artists are covering old songs and everything, but you don't hear new songs coming out and then someone else the next year having another version of it. So
That's too bad. But I don't hear as strong of melodies as I used to hear.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of good music coming out there, but I don't hear the same kind of hooks and the same kind of melodies that I used to hear.
I feel like a lot of what makes a song now is just the construction, and the technology and everything. And it's not just the core, verse, chorus, whatever
Right.
in melody. And but let me see. Oh, I actually found out there was some gal, she's like a modern singer, who did a cover of "They're Coming to Take Me Away."
No.
Yes, there is. I'll
No
have to find
way.
her again. Yeah, because I was listening to it and she just sounded like some crazy gal, but it was anyway.
Well, I'll tell you that. I mean, I have a weirder cover than that.
Okay.
The Shazam covered "Revolution Number 9" by the Beatles.
Oh, wow, that's adventurous.
It is, and they do it. I mean, they
Really?
make up it's a sound collage with all sorts of things, radio broadcasts and things on the original Beatle version. But the Shazam recreate that stuff.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's I wouldn't say it's great, even though I do like Revolution.
It's adventurous, though.
Well, it's gutsy.
Yeah.
Who the hell else would cover something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I think I love it when people do something that strange.
I do too. Even if it's, even if it doesn't, it can be great in another way,
Yeah.
So, John, you got anything you want to add yet? Because I got my long list.
I've just got, I guess, a couple of covers that I think of where the original came out and it's a good song and everything, but then someone else interprets it and really that becomes the definitive.
Okay.
They just do their own thing. And the first one I thought of was Leonard Cohen's "Hallelujah."
Oh yeah.
Right.
As covered by Jeff Buckley.
I've heard a lot of covers, but I think the Buckley's probably the biggest.
I mean, when you listen to Leonard Cohen's
Wayne's
version,
looking. Wait.
I'm split between the Buckley version and the John Cale version.
I haven't.
The
heard
John Cale version came first and got that song kind of a little leg up, and then the Jeff Buckley version came out, and that's what everybody heard.
Yeah.
Well, and he just rings every last bit of emotion out of it.
Yeah, he
His
does.
voice
I always
is
think
just
of
so
it as
supple
yeah.
and amazing, and it's just so emotional. When you listen to Leonard Cohen's version, he's written some amazing. The chord progression is great.
Right.
The lyrics are incredible, but Leonard Cohen's not much of a singer.
Right.
No.
And Jeff Buckley just takes it to a whole new place.
I think of it as Buckley's song, kind of like, you know, some of these others we've talked about who just took a version and made it their own.
Well, I'll tell you what I hate, though, is so many people have taken that song and changed the lyrics.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a song about sex.
I know.
If you don't know, if you've heard a version that is all Jesus,
I know. I've heard it. I've heard people do that, and it's like, oh, you totally missed what this song is.
No, it's about sex.
Yeah.
And then they turn it around to a song, and I have nothing against gospel songs. I have nothing against songs about Jesus, but
They're
I
great
do.
songs.
I have.
That's not what this song is.
No, and I have a real big problem with people who take a song and change the lyrics and change the meaning.
Yeah.
I mean, Leonard Cohen was all about biblical references, but it was all about carnality mixed in with biblical references.
Carnality.
I mean, it's what?
No, go ahead.
But it's very Old Testament,
Right.
as far as the sex goes. I mean, he references Samson, he references King David. I mean, there's like these are all things that he references on a regular basis in his songs. And it has nothing to do with Christianity. It is about sex.
You heard that? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah for sex. You got another one, John?
Yeah, this one's not necessarily that the covered version is the definitive one, because I think the original version is also quite amazing, but Van Halen's covering "You Really Got Me."
Uh-huh.
They did their own thing with it.
They did, for sure.
I mean, the Kinks version is.
We got a Kinks fan.
I'm right there with.
Oh yeah,
with
we're
Wayne.
both. We know we both love the Kinks.
I mean, Dave Davies' guitar solo in that is just the most manic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Revolutionary.
Yeah. But then again, Van Halen just took it to a whole different place.
Well, to me, I mean, when I first heard it, I was pissed off a little bit. Because it's like, this is the classic Kinks song. This is like the kind of their definitive song for most people. But, Dave Davies, I mean, punk and heavy metal basically go back to the guitar, and You Really Got Me. And Van Halen was doing something totally different with guitar on their version, and it's great too.
Yeah, it is.
What's their version about?
I think it's
about sex.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
John, you got something else?
I got one here where the cover is completely different from the original one, and that is Devo's version of Satisfaction.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just like they're purposely trying to make it as different from the Stones as they possibly can, and they do a great job.
Oh, it's when I first heard it, it was another one. Like initially, I kind of got pissed off, and then I got so that I loved it because it was
funny.
just like, they take everything about that song and turn it on its head.
Yeah.
I can't get me no. I mean, it's got none
It's
of
like what was it? The Flying Lizards with
money.
That's
Money.
Their
what I
version of
want.
money's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And
they're
we
like-
used to talk about that.
Yeah. That's what I want.
Barrett Strong, the guy who wrote it, died last year. But his version's great. But I've heard tons of people do it.
That's been covered by a million people.
But
Yeah.
the Flying Lizards version is definitely the furthest afield version.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just like Devo's Satisfaction.
Yeah.
And
They did. I remember that. I only know a few Devo songs, but
They are so subversive.
yeah.
I just love Devo.
I remember. I don't know how many times I watched the video to Whip It, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. But this band, I don't know much about this band, but I really like this. And I mean, it's Mother's
Mark Mothersbaugh.
Mother's Bow. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish I was in the room watching Jagger and Richards hear it for the first time.
Yeah.
Can you
Somehow
imagine?
I think Keith Richards would have think it was funny.
Probably.
Her
yeah.
Majesty probably wouldn't have liked it, but
Maybe not. Well, I don't know. The other one, man, I wish I could have been in the room when Bob Dylan first heard Jimi Hendrix cover All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
Because that's another case where it's like, it's a good song with Bob Dylan.
But Jimi Hendrix takes it and just turns it inside out.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, now Bob Dylan does it in the style of Jimi Hendrix as best as he can.
Yeah.
Because, like, That's the thing that's so cool about certain artists is they can hear something that nobody else can hear in a song and turn it into just something amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that too. Well, we haven't talked about this one yet. I don't know how we haven't talked about this one yet. And I think it's controversial, especially around here. But I do like Whitney Houston's version of I Will Always Love You more than Dolly's.
I can't agree with that.
I love Dolly. I love everything about Dolly. I think I love the sweet tone that she has. The Whitney Houston one, I got tired of it. They played it to death.
Right.
It's a power ballad, but to me, it never goes over the top. It's very controlled, and it builds and it builds. And I thought that was just a masterful performance by Whitney Houston. I will always love Dolly more than Whitney Houston, but Whitney Houston turned it on that one, and I could just see. And the one ding I would have for Dolly about it is that little spoken part, which to me, I don't like. 90% of the time when someone has a spoken part in their song, it's going to sound a little hokey. And, and they just cut that out when they did Whitney's version. Yeah. So, but around here, everyone's supposed to say, well, Dolly's version is better. And I assume you feel the same way. How come? Is Whitney too over the top for you? Or
I don't buy Whitney. I mean, I think Whitney had an amazing voice.
Yeah.
I was always disappointed in her as a singer, even though she is more controlled in that song. Because I think she is one of those singers, like Mariah Carey. They throw in everything they know how to do in every song.
Right.
And I hate that.
Mariah Carey's more likely to vamp and do notes and like non-words. But you listen to Whitney Houston in this one, whoever produced it, I don't know who produced it or whatever, but it's just always just straightforward words, no extra nonsense, and it builds and it builds and it builds, Yeah. So, and I'm glad that Dolly made so much money off of it too.
So is Dolly.
Dolly is too.
So is Dolly.
But, Dolly donated all the money she made off that to a black neighborhood in Nashville.
Yeah, that's amazing.
She's there's like a community center or whatever else in a section of Nashville, and it's like they owe it to that song.
Right. There's a collaboration between Parton and Houston, I guess, to make that happen. But
what I appreciated so much is that Dolly appreciated her version so much. She's always praised it to no end, and she just, she likes it.
And I always thought she was, she's probably, again, it was kind of like with the 9 Inch Nails. I was like, well, this is Dolly's song, really. But then I just went through, like I say, and put on my let's be an objective as we can critic here and listen. It's like, wow, this Whitney Houston, as much as it was overplayed and we heard it and heard it and heard it, her producers, everything, they really controlled everything. And they really put she had a magical voice, and they really put it to the right steps in there. So
yeah, well, it's some of these artists that are so huge and so beloved that it seems crazy to cover their songs sometimes.
Yeah.
There's only one Rolling Stone song that I like a cover better than their original, and I love the original, and that's "Gimme Shelter." I love Ashley Cleveland's version of "Gimme Shelter."
Wow! Okay.
Even though she's
like a Christian singer.
She's contemporary Christian, but
Knoxville, isn't she?
Well, part-time from Knoxville.
Okay.
She grew up in Knoxville and California, so her parents were divorced. But her version of "Gimme Shelter" is man, it's a gut punch. It is just, the original version is it builds, and of course it's Mary Clayton's vocals in the background that it kind of delivers that. Ashley Cleveland puts it all into one place. I mean, she does cut out parts of it because she is singing it with a different intent, but her rendition is just kick ass.
Okay. Are you allowed to say that about a Christian singer?
Kick butt.
Kick butt.
Listen, as I always would describe to Ashley, it's she comes from the land of the unwashed. She's not preaching to the choir. She's singing to folks who've been through some stuff.
Okay. Well, that takes me to another one, and that's everyone in the world has covered the Beatles. And I would say almost every single time, no one is as good as the Beatles.
Yeah,
I hold the opinion that you shouldn't cover the Beatles.
Right, I agree. Most Beatles songs, but the one I have, and I know I've made you listen to it, and you at least pretended to like it. But that was Susie and the Banshees, "Dear Prudence."
Yeah, I like that one.
They make it their own. They give it this whole surrealistic kind of, opium den kind of air, which is appropriate, really, for where the Beatles were at that point. And And it almost sounds like, with Susie Sue, it sounds like she's beckoning a witch to come to the coven to do their... And it's just like real haunting and engaging. And part of the reason, too, I think is it's... To me, I know it's on the White Album, that's your favorite Beatles album and everything, but I don't think Dear Prudence is one of their best songs.
Well, so it's certainly not one of the better known songs.
Right. So, and I mean, it's fine. What are you going to say, John? Go ahead.
I love the White Album, too. It's my favorite. Favorite Beatles record is going to change on the day, but... Right.
The only, I mean, I can't think of a Beatles cover that I like as well as the Beatles. I think probably the closest for me is Stevie Wonder covering We Can Work It Out, because he does a kick-ass version of We Can Work It Out. Right. But, I mean, I
can't think of any other. I mean, Susan and Banji is like, oh, this is pretty good. And I was like, well, is it just because I like her? Or is it pretty good? So I started playing it to other Beatles fans. They're like, yeah, that is. They made it their own.
Yeah.
They gave it more context. It was a little. It just seems kind of incomplete. I don't know. It's just a little tiny bit vulnerable to being improved upon by someone else for it to be a Beatles song.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I've just kind of parlays into that one of the covers I have that I really love is the Beatles covering Act Naturally, which is a Buck Owens song.
Yeah.
And that Buck Owens is just hugely underrated, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Buck Owens loved it.
Yeah. And it rocketed him to stardom, too.
Made him a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's... I think that's...
Go ahead.
I just lost it. But, yeah, I think with the Beatles, I mean, when they covered, Twist and Shout, they covered a lot of things.
Yeah, they made that one their own, too.
Right. And, I mean, you can't get better than Chuck Berry's version of Roll Over Beethoven, but they covered that and they did a great version of it. Yeah. But they were students of all this. That's one of the things people forget is they absolutely loved all this stuff, and they spent years covering it before they were writing their own songs.
Right.
I mean, I always default to them if someone says, who do you think's been the best band in history? And it's like, Beatles, you're safe to say that, because there's just so much there.
They set so many different precedents.
Yeah, they did. They were like defining it as they went along. There are other great bands, they weren't exclusively good. I mean, so anyway. Well, is it time to talk about David Bowie now?
Oh, no. What are you going to do on David Bowie?
I have a related comment on this, too.
On David Bowie?
Yeah, go ahead and say yours
which
first.
one? Okay.
No, I don't know what you're going to say.
All right, no. So, David Bowie, I admire so many things about him. I always have to do a disclaimer before I talk about him because for whatever reason, I never really connected with him. And it's like, and partly because I missed it, like when he was coming out with all this great stuff, right. I wasn't aware. I guess I was probably born, but I had no idea. And I didn't come into David Bowie until Let's Dance, which we all agree wasn't the best time to come in learning.
One of the worst times. Yeah.
But I did go back and I did like the song Heroes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's just like, and I think it's because he's got the theatrical kind of dramatic thing going on that's a little too chilly for me. And I just don't, I can appreciate all the artistry or whatever, but I don't identify with it.
Right.
And Blondie does a cover of Heroes, and I can explain why. First of all, the band Blondie, apart from Debbie Harry, is a great band.
Right.
And they had the guitars down, and they had the backing vocals down, so they set up a perfect construction of Heroes. And Debbie Harry, the lead singer of Blondie, she's a little bit icy herself. She doesn't have like a lot of like lovey, mushy songs. I mean, she was passionate in Call Me, but that was just because she was horny, But she doesn't do like all these. She doesn't do all these like little gushy love songs.
Yeah.
But she's just slightly more accessible than David Bowie. And the song, she starts out just dutifully following up with Bowie and the first couple of verses or whatever. But when it gets to that last verse, there's never a payoff for Bowie with me with Heroes. Mm. But with her, she just suddenly just goes through the roof with a whole I remember, all that part. And that's when she sells. It's like, all right, she gives this song what I thought it always meant, always needed. So
interesting. Somebody I can't remember who it was. Somebody else covered Heroes.
I've heard it covered by somebody. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, there's somebody who had kind of a minor hit with it. I can't think it was now either.
Oh yeah, it wasn't very good though, was it?
It was kind of okay. Yeah, it's not been long ago.
Well, the one that's slightly related to that is just kind of an oddball whole album of covers that just I don't know how it came into the public consciousness, but it's the Langley School's music project.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And it was a Canadian music teacher who taught his students how to sing and play a bunch of classic rock songs, and they do a version of Space Oddity. And there's something really eerie about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but listen to the Langley Music School, Langley School's music project. It's its own thing. It's one album, and they cover the Beach Boys. They cover
it's a lot of different.
David Bowie. They may even cover some Beatles. I'm not sure.
They cover the Beatles.
It's classic rock stuff.
I love to hear people cover. I mean, like modern people covering people you wouldn't expect them to cover. To hear songs completely reinvented.
Well, and this is not a professional recording. I mean, it's like he took a tape recorder into a gymnasium, and they set up as a choir, and some of them played drums, and a kid played guitar, and it's just like it's got all kinds of reverb because of the gym, and the kids are so guileless and innocent that they may be singing about really, when the original versions were like thorny adult kind of topics, but these kids just like strip away all the.
I love that.
You know, and it's just kids having fun.
It's more pure, really, in a way, when it's not.
Well, my favorite cover of a Lou Reed song is the kids in PS 22 in New York. They do a version of "I'll Be Your Mirror" that's like has all the sweetness that the Velvet Underground version and Lou Reed's own version. I mean, his solo version. When you hear him sing it, he doesn't have it. They get it.
Right. And
it's so weird because it's these little kids, and you can see the video on YouTube, and they're all these kids are like middle school age, and they're real, young, cute kids. They're great.
Right. Well, I just looked up who covered Heroes.
Who was it?
Well, you tell me. Everybody covered. Peter Gabriel, King Crimson, Motorhead, Blondie, Depeche Mode, Nico, Oasis, The Wallflowers, Billy Preston, David Byrne. So.
Well, you just reminded me by saying Peter Gabriel, another one of my very favorite covers, which is, and I like Magnetic Fields a whole lot.
Yeah.
But his version of Book of Love, I mean, that's one of those that just makes you want to cry. It's so pretty. I mean, Magnetic Fields is very, he has his voice like this.
He's got that dramatic voice.
Kind of dramatic monotone nearly.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel's is so incredibly sweet that, I mean, it's like, it tears me up every time I listen to it. I love it. And that was the thing. Peter Gabriel did this whole album, 2 albums. He did an album where he covered other people's work and an album where they covered his work.
Oh, cool.
I can't remember what the albums were called.
How long ago was this?
Maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
It was
more recent though.
Yeah, it's more recent. It was after, his big splash.
Yeah.
But when he wasn't doing that much, but a bunch of people like turned him down, and other people went along with
Peter
it.
Gabriel.
Well, I know. I think it seems like Paul Simon was one of the people who turned him down, but his version of Book of Love, I mean, there's other songs on there that are good too, but that one is just like, no, this is the way the song was meant to be.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned, songs that have been covered a whole bunch of times, and one of the things that my wife and I this past weekend were listening to cover songs, and the English beat song "Save It for Later" has been covered by so many people in so many different genres. Pete Townshend's got a great version of it. Eddie Vedder's got a really great version of it. We found a Ramonesy punk. It wasn't Ramones, but it was that style, and it lends itself to that too. It's just 3 chords. It's so simple, and so that one was one. We spent probably 45 minutes listening to different versions. Save it for later.
I was doing that too. I looked up, cover songs, and I was like, look at best cover songs or whatever.
Right.
Just so many songs were covers that I had no idea were covers.
Oh, really?
And when I looking up backstory, it's like, that's not worth bothering. And I thought, no one's going to know that, or whatever. But it was just like, technically, you have no idea how many songs are cover songs until you just start drilling down.
Well, when I was doing the late night radio show, I think it was the 25th anniversary of A Whiter Shade of Pale, which is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Procol Harum, I love that song. But
Annie Lennox.
Yeah, I played a different version every week for nearly a year.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, because there's so many versions. Annie Lennox is one of my very favorites too, as far as covers go. But, King Curtis covered it. It's pretty much everybody that could sing from the 60s to the 70s covered it. And then it would come back up and modern people would cover it.
Right.
But, Dan Reeder, he's this the crazy guy. I think I've mentioned him before. But he does a good version of it. And R. Stevie Moore.
Yeah.
He's like Mr. Do-It-Yourself out of Nashville.
Right.
His version is he goes back and gets the original. There's like 2 verses that were cut out of the hit version.
Right.
And they didn't put it on the album either, so you'd have to hear them do it live if they decided to do it.
Right. Well, I threw out Annie Lennox in there, not because I've got one cover by her, but just because if you notice, several of my songs are women covering songs that men did. Mm-hmm. And that's partly, I think, I just feel like women are less restrained about emoting a lot of the time. And if you don't like their voices, you don't like their voices. But that brings me to another one, and it's I think Radiohead's "Creep" is like one of the best rock songs from the '90s. I think it was just amazing. Tom York, it's just disquieting what a little creep he is in the song. It's like this self-hatred and then this resentment, and then it's just got that really weird part where he's talking about, she's running away again, running. Mm-hmm. But I love that song. That's not the song Radiohead even wants to be associated with. And for a long time, I think they're playing it again, but for a long time they just stopped playing it. But my version is, and I think you've heard this before, I'm not sure, but it's the Pretenders. Chrissie Hynde doing "Creep."
No.
And that little quaver she has in her voice, perfect for that song.
What album's that on? What album's that on?
I don't know. It's much later.
Yeah,
obviously, because Creep didn't come out till '93.
Right.
So it was after big wave for Pretenders. But and she's slow like he is in the beginning, and and it's kind of nip and tuck as to which one's the better version, because I just love her voice, and her voice just instantly triggers something. It's so distinctive. And then when the falsetto part, when Tom York goes into the falsetto about she's running away, run, that kind of coincides with a lot of like heavy electricity from the band Radiohead, like clanging in there with it. And then in the Pretenders version, it's more purely her falsetto. Huh. And it's just chilling. It's like up to that point, I'm thinking, oh, Radiohead's still the better version. Then when she does it and goes into that, she's running away and everything, it's like, whoa, wow, this is like made for Chrissie Hynde. So I love Radiohead. Not going to say anything bad about them. I love Creep, but Chrissie Hynde, I don't know. I go back and forth which one's the best one, but it gives it a run for the money.
Well, always when you change genders, like we were talking about before, it makes the song a lot different, and you can listen to it a different way. Yeah, like Respect, or Linda Ronstadt and Jonelle Mosser out of Nashville, they both covered "Willin'" by Little Feat, which is a song about a trucker.
Right.
And man, they're great.
Right. It's a great song.
It's a great song, but hearing a woman do it, it's like there's something about that.
Right.
Lowell George was a great singer. But there's, he's not a better singer than Linda Ronstadt.
No. No. I had a great interview with her a long time ago.
Really? I never got to talk to Linda.
She was funny, and I just thought she was going to be this real, I was kind of new. Yeah. And I thought, oh, she's going to chew me up, And she was just like down to earth and everything. Yeah. One time, we were talking about commercialism and all this stuff, and I said something about, well, if you were at the mall and blah, blah, blah. She goes, oh, I don't go to malls. I hate malls. I said, well, there are record stores at malls that sell your... She goes, oh, I love malls. So she was just like real down to earth, and I didn't expect that because she just seemed like such an icon, Yeah, but that doesn't change when you talk to people.
I from what I've read about her and what people have said, I think she would be down to earth.
Yeah.
But, there's somebody who, she's a little bit like Aretha, and when she covered a song, she made it hers, and it's like, it's hard to find a better version than her version.
Once she covered it, it's covered.
Yeah. She was the best, I think she was probably the best interpreter of Jimmy Webb songs.
Didn't Trio, wasn't all of their music cover songs? I think. Linda and Emmylou and Dolly?
I think Dolly had it. I know Dolly had at least one song on there because they did a song that Dolly wrote that she and Porter did. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I think that they had some original stuff on there. It's mostly covers of things though.
Yeah,
and some of that was it was like more modern songwriters.
Right.
It seems like they like Chris
They did
Hillman
Mr. Sandman.
Yeah, they did a lot of covers.
So,
and that's a song that shows up a lot. A lot of people
everywhere.
cover that.
Yeah.
I got a couple of it's 2 albums. I think there may be 3. I'm not sure, but it was a series of albums put out by Susanna Hoffs and Matthew Sweet.
Yeah.
Called Under the Covers.
They did some great versions.
And I think Susanna Hoffs picked most of the songs, and they're great old '60s sort of obscure, like "Walk Away Renee" and just these little one-hit wonders that were such great songs. And they do really nice versions of them, and they're very enjoyable.
Well, they do a great version on one of those albums of "Warmth of the Sun" by the Beach Boys, which is a great Beach Boys song. But theirs is just like, man, their vocals are so good.
She's great. Was it? I know they did "Hazy Shade of Winter." The Bangles did, and
Manic Monday.
Yeah,
Manic Monday. That was
It's a Prince song. Prince had a crush on her.
Did Prince ever do Manic? Yeah, he wrote that for them, though.
He wrote it for her.
Everyone had a crush on her.
Yeah,
I still do.
Yeah. I met her. I met her in person. I'll have to tell that story someday. But she's just a little bitty thing. But she was great. But I'm thinking of "In Your Room." I don't know if that was
In My Room.
In My Room.
By the Beach Boys?
No, it's "I Love It in Your Room." It's not the Bangles. You're the
Oh,
only
that's
one.
different.
But it had that kind of like, I always assumed it was like from psychedelic time, but maybe it was just a new song. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know that song. It's an
Susanna
older
Hoffs,
song.
you just triggered all kinds of memories. She's the same age as Madonna, which is weird.
She's held up well.
She has, yeah.
I follow her on Instagram. She's delightful.
Yeah, she is.
Well,
I've got, you had something else?
No, that was mine.
Well, I've got one last one, and this is just for my mom.
just for your mom.
Because my mom, I told you she liked Backrack, and she wasn't like as heavily into music. It's like some people are into music and they feel it and they want to share it. Some people, it's just nice to have around, and then there are those weirdos who just won't listen to it, and they're not listening to our podcast, so we can say anything we want to about them. But anyway, my mom, is just sort of there most of the time. But for some reason, a few years ago, she got into this Disturbed version of Sound of Silence.
I know people who love that song.
I couldn't understand it, and she was like, "Oh, come here, you've got to hear this," and she had it up on her computer, and she was watching it, and she was listening to it. Years went by, and she would keep listening to it and everything. I thought, "Mom, this," and I just assumed, being my mom, it was maybe one of my nephews that turned her on to it, or she's just associating it with someone, like we were talking about recently about music and memories and how good songs, bad songs, whatever, they get lodged in her mind.
Yeah.
And so I asked her about it, and she said, "No, I just like that song." She said, "I just think it's amazing." And it's like, okay. So I always, I listened to it, and it's who's the singer?
I remember the
David
name.
Draymond. Draymond, yeah. Just this baritone, just totally over the top, bombastic delivery of this song, and it's just like rattling. It's like, okay, Mom, that's an awfully strong song. But then I started kind of liking it, and I thought, now I feel like a hack or whatever. But then looking it up, and there are other people who like it. And there are a lot of people who like that song. And then I went back and listened to Simon Garfunkel's version, and it seemed kind of underwhelming by comparison. I thought maybe he just gave it some oomph, but don't know that I really prefer Disturbed over Simon and Garfunkel, but for my mom, I'm throwing it out there.
Well, the interesting thing about that song, they did an acoustic version. It started out that it's just them and acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
And they'd broken up.
Yeah.
And somebody, that's Tom Wilson, whoever their producer was anyway, because of the Byrds, it was taken off with folk rock, he decided to put electric guitars on it.
Okay.
And that's why it became the song that we all know. Is they got back together because it became a hit. Right.
Maybe I heard the old version when I went back to listen to it. Well, Disturbed, he rings every note of that song, and it's just like. And again, I thought it was just Mom feeling sorry for one of my nephews, feeling sorry for himself, or whatever. No, it's just like something that she glommed onto, at her certain age, and so anyway.
One of the things that we sort of touched on is covers that just make you forget the original.
Yeah.
And one of the big ones for me is Ray Charles covering "I Can't Stop Loving You." You know, I mean, that's like,
I'm trying to remember.
it's, you know, it's a great version, but it's like everybody forgets the Don Gibson version. Because he had a country hit with it in like 1958, and then Ray Charles does it, and I think like 62 on his Modern Sounds in country music, country and western music.
Well, you've gone back too far. That's why I'm not.
Okay, that's right.
About.
That's right. I'm
Do you
too
know
far
what he's
for
talking
you.
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can talk to John.
But you know, but that now that's a definitive version. It's like Respect. It's a definitive version of that song.
Yeah.
And it's like.
He made it his own.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody even remembers that Don Gibson had the hit with it. Right. And
I know I didn't.
All right, okay.
I am in awe of your knowledge, Wayne. I think it's just my jealousy sometimes when I rear up and say, that's too old for me to know about. I don't care about that. You know, it's just because I'm jealous. Yeah, I'm just jealous that you know it and I don't.
I feel like a fossil. You were doing much more fun things while I was listening to records.
Sometimes. Getting in trouble.
I have one last one.
Okay.
That I promised my wife that I would, because this is one of her favorites, but it's an African artist named Angelique Kidjo.
Oh, yeah, I know
and
her.
she does a version of the Talking Heads' Remain in Light.
Yes.
And she talks, I've read an interview with her where she talks about how when she heard that, she was like a teenage girl, and she didn't know that there were white people from America doing this. This was just, it sounded like the music of her youth, and she just loved it and listened to it all the time.
She's great.
And she did it at Bonnaroo, and came out into the crowd and had a moment with my wife just staring at each other. I got a picture of it.
Cool.
But yeah,
hats off to Angelique Kidjo.
Yeah, she's great.
Yes, she is. I've reviewed several of her albums. You like her too,
yeah.
I think. Yeah,
I think she's really good.
Yeah, very dynamic.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll have to revisit this because we only got a fraction.
Yeah, I feel like we could talk all night and tomorrow and the next day about covers. But
well, you got any recommendations?
We didn't get any fights with my controversial.
Well, okay. Well, let me throw one out.
Controversial.
My girlfriend Sarah threw one out to me as I was coming over here. She says the worst cover that she knows of is Madonna's cover of American Pie.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Well, see, we're not even going to fight about that.
No, we can't even fight about that. No, it's pretty bad, and it's just. And the video was just awful. It made it worse.
Oh, it's terrible.
I think there's maybe one or two tones she hits that's okay in that song, but otherwise I'm like, why did Madonna do this song? She was getting desperate at that point. You know, it's like she had peaked. Other women were coming up and taking her spot. Music was changing, and instead of leading the way, she was trying to play catch up.
Yep.
And she thought, well, what better to do than American Pie? It's like, that's a bad choice.
It was a very bad choice.
And she didn't even do it well, you know, so.
No. So
we can't even fight about that.
No. I'm very fond of that song, but nobody should cover it.
No.
It's just not a coverable song.
That's a hands off. Yeah.
And, you know, his next biggest, Vincent was a big hit, and he wrote that, but his next biggest hit was Crying, which is a cover of a Roy Orbison song.
Don McLean. We didn't mention
his name.
For the people who don't know. Yeah. It was what?
I said, it was a...
what was his song?
Crying.
Oh.
Roy Orbison's one of his big hits. And he had a hit with that, too.
Okay. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so we're punting covers now.
All right.
What do you have recommendation-wise, Wayne?
Well, I'm not. I saw Longlegs, which I thought was it was a really good horror film.
Right.
I thought it was maybe a.
Don't give too much away.
I'm not going to give too much away. I mean, what I'm going to tell you, you learn in the first 5 minutes. Basically, it has a very Silence of the Lambs vibe.
Right.
I think the biggest thing it's got going for it is it's the atmosphere.
Okay.
I mean, and Nick Cage is great in the little role that he plays.
Okay.
But it's fun. I mean, I saw I watched a movie last night from 2 years ago that's actually scarier, but not as satisfying in a way.
Which one was that?
Men. Have you seen Men?
Yes. I did not like that.
I thought it was great until the last 15 minutes.
It had such a flop ending, it just ruined it.
It was like... Me. Yeah, well, you get to the ending, it's like you think you know what you're doing.
Why did you do that? Yeah, it's like, why did you do that to
Why did you keep doing that?
Movie? Yeah.
Why did you? It became a body horror film.
Yeah.
And you were just like...
It made me miss Human Centipede.
Yeah. It's like, is this ever going to stop?
Yeah.
And then And then you're left thinking, was this real or is this not real or what?
I hope it was not real.
Yeah, but there's indications that it was.
Yeah, I can't remember it well enough. I remember seeing it, I saw it when it came out in theaters. And I think that was pretty pandemic-y time.
Yeah, it's right after the pandemic, 2022.
Yeah, so it was one of the first ones I saw in the theater. And I tried to not know anything about it and went and it was like, well, that's not where I expected that to go.
No, the whole premise is good and it's scary and suspenseful, and then you get to the end, it's like, what the hell?
Who is the actress in that?
I can't remember her name. She's not somebody I'm real familiar
good.
with. Yeah, she was. Everybody was great in it.
Yeah.
It's just
What happened?
Story-wise, you're like, where the hell did this come from?
It just sounds like someone said, well, we got to have a surprise ending here, so let's make it crazy.
Well, it made you think, I thought it was going to be some, kind of feminist tome, which was okay with me.
There was some of that.
Yeah, if a woman had made it rather than the guy, I think I would have had more sympathy.
It had more, yeah.
But this was like, you're just kind of fronting here. It's just like, it's nuts. Anyway, I can recommend Long Legs. Okay. I can recommend everything but the last 15 minutes of.
Okay. All right.
You got a movie?
I do. I'm going to recommend an old favorite of mine, 1996 black comedy, Flirting with Disaster.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad you both have seen it. I can't believe how many people haven't seen that movie because it was so great.
It's so funny. It's so wrong.
It's so wrong. It's just like every time I look at the trailer or whatever, I think this is such a great movie. If I see it, showing or whatever.
It's loaded with stars too.
Yeah, I wrote them down. It's Ben Stiller, Patricia Arquette, Taya Leone, Alan Alda, Lily Tomlin, George Siegel, Mary Tyler Moore, Richard Jenkins, and Josh Brolin. And it's so well cast, and they're all great. They're all so neurotic, and it's just like. And the movie's about, for people who haven't seen it, we're just talking about a movie we've seen here. Yeah. But it's about this guy, Ben Stiller, who is on a search for his biological parents. And he has some false leads, and those end up funny. Were the Swedes, were they twins, the sisters?
Yeah.
That he thought he was
volleyball
related
players.
to them? Yeah. Volleyball players, these beautiful twin volleyball players. And he's like, oh, we're, like obviously no way he's ever related to them. But and then what was it?
The truck driver?
She kept the little statue. Yeah, the truck driver who was just like, that was crazy. But then his real parents, and his adoptive parents, and then you get both sets in the same house, and then he's got this Taya Leone. She's the therapist, and she's got more problems than anybody.
She's crazy as a bedbug.
I love it at one point when they're having like this little sweet conversation, and Ben Stiller says, "You remind me of my mom," and she just hauls off and slaps him because she's heard all of his therapy sessions, him talking about his mom, and that's the last person he would. But I think the favorite scene for me is. Patricia Arquette had a thing with Josh Brolin, who's now in a relationship with a man in the movie with another ATF agent, and so he talks to her, and he's kind of feeling it for her again, and she's kind of fed up with Ben Stiller. They're not getting along very well. They're married, and they have. But anyway, and he talks her into going to the bathroom and everything, and together, and she's going to take a shower. And you think something's going to go on there, and Ben Stiller throws open the door, and she's got her arm back over her head, and Josh Brolin's licking her armpit, and Ben Stiller goes, "Oh my God!" and she goes, "What? I wasn't even enjoying it." It's just like moment after moment of just ridiculous, absurd, kind of slapstick, but adult, and anyway.
Very adult.
It's worth...
Lily Tomlin's hilarious.
Lily Tomlin, when Jenkins has the overdose, and she's trying to talk him out of it, and he keeps changing what kind of dog he was, and she just finally, shut the F up, I'm trying to help you.
I think we may have just summed the whole movie up. Nobody needs to watch it.
No, you need to watch it.
No, you need to watch it.
It's still very funny.
Like every minute there's some new scene.
It's kind of something about Mary, fast as pacing. It's like there's something every couple of seconds.
It was David O. Russell was the director, and he did stuff like I Heart Huckabees, which
I liked it.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah.
He's done a bunch of successful.
Yeah. But I think if you haven't seen Flirting with Disaster, you want to see kind of an adult, crazy, absurd comedy, then that's a good one to see. Even though it's like from '96, it still holds up.
It's still funny.
Yeah.
John?
I don't have any television, but I'll just tell you what I've been listening to lately. I've been listening to a lot of Lamb Chop.
Oh, okay.
It's Kurt Wagner, a Nashville musician. He's put out a series of albums, but he gets some of the best Nashville cats to come play on his records, and they sound great. He's got this really rich baritone voice. And
what is it, rock or?
Yeah, it's real mellow, but it has rock elements to it.
Okay.
And Vic Chestnut recorded an album with Lamb Chop.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the album was, but it's really good.
But that's what I've been digging lately.
All right. Wayne, you got a music?
Well, I'm going to recommend, this is a person that's from Knoxville. I'm going to recommend Kevin Abernathy's album Some Stories, which I think is probably his best collection of songs. He's a great guitar player and a great songwriter. This is pretty much acoustic, and this is the one album where you're not paying attention to what a great guitar player he is. You're just paying attention to how great the songs are. And he's one of those guys. He was a metal guy. Went to San Francisco and became part of the hair metal scene way back when, and then moved to Nashville with a band called the Shapeshifters, and really started listening to John Prine and different people like that. And then he recorded this album. Did he record it here, John? No. I'm not sure where he recorded it.
Is he based in Knoxville again?
He's based in Knoxville. But it's a great album, and I think he is one of the best undiscovered singer-songwriters in the country, and I think everybody should hear him.
And again, that's Kevin Abernathy?
Kevin Abernathy.
Okay. And yours was Lamb Chop?
Lamb Chop.
Okay. Well, I'm throwing out one that from down the road, Warner Robins, Georgia.
Okay.
In 2000, Rehab released this album, Southern Discomfort. You remember that one?
I love Rehab. I love that one.
Great. And the lead singer, Danny Boone Alexander, and he had a rapper in the band in 2000 when he first released this, Southern Discomfort. It was their second album by Rehab. And the rapper was James Buford, who moved on to something else. But the 2000 album, that's the one you want. He's continued to perform and everything. It has like this... some hard rock rap type crazy. It's like a lot of funny stuff, but real just biting stuff. The songs like a Storm Chaser and Rattle My Cage. But then he has this song that's been covered. Speaking of cover songs, Sitting in a Bar has been covered by a lot of country acts. And it has an air to it. It's hilarious. He's just this guy on probation with a girl on pills, and he's drunk, and they're fighting, and he's just got this whole I'm sitting in a bar. It sounds like a country, crying in my beer type song. But then he just like, they get into it. He does a lot of stupid things, and he's just basically waiting for the police to come pick him up. And it's funny. And he's got a great voice, because there's one other song I'll mention is called It Don't Matter. I don't know if you remember that, all the good things here are gone, and all the good. It's just kind of like kind of this self-pitying. I don't have anything, and nothing good in my life stays around. It don't matter. It's okay. But just he has a really good voice, and he sings it. It's more of a that song. It's like a real stylistically diverse album.
I think they're touring again too.
Are they?
I think so. I think
he's in
something.
like a 5-piece band now, but the rapper guy has been gone for a while.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. It seems like I just saw a show that it seems like they're on tour with another band from that era that we both liked. I'm trying to think what that band is, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're back out going again.
All right. Well, that's Rehab, Southern Discomfort.
There you go.
All right. We wound it down here, huh? All right. Well, thank you for listening, everybody.
Join us again next week.
Yep.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, art, culture, movies, whatever they want to talk about. How We Heard It was recorded in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Arbor Studio by John Baker. If you believe you've been abducted by aliens during the listening to this podcast, we take no responsibility for that. How We Heard It is a Tear Owl production, and if you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. Come on back next week and we'll have another show for you.